Welcome to Innovate Leader podcast. This is a channel where I share some critical leadership values that will help and challenge you and provoke you as a leader in terms of building highly productive teams. And the word today is empathy. And empathy, from a definition perspective, is the ability to understand and share the feeling of another person. And in this particular case, for a leader, is the ability to understand and share the feeling of a team member. And if you're able to do this as leaders, then we are likely that we are driving some engagement which will lead to some productivity from our team members. And I want to look at it in three dimensions, especially when I look at empathy. So there is the intellectual aspect, or what a number of people call the cognitive aspect. That when you as a leader, you understand that from a cognitive perspective, from an intellectual perspective, each of your team members are different. They have different intellectual capacity. So you avoid the aspect of comparing, you avoid the aspect of pushing one to be like the other. But you are able to understand each one of them and really work with them at their different cognitive levels and help them to improve to the next level. The next aspect that is very critical is the emotional perspective of empathy. And for you to understand as a leader that your team members are having different emotional capacities, or they have different emotional intelligence, and that some will cry when situations are difficult, some will run away, some will challenge those situations. So as a leader is for you to understand how to work with each of these team members in their different emotional levels, for you to be able to enable them move to a positive levels in their emotional capacity or in their emotional intelligence. And the last aspect there that is very critical is the compassionate aspect of empathy. And I like to call this more or less relational empathy, because we are in different levels in terms of our relational capabilities. There are people who are what we call extroverts, they will engage and so on. There are people who are introverts. They will pull back, but they are very meticulous, they are very organized, they are very engaged when they're given background engagement. So you need to be able to understand your team members and work with them in their different levels of compassion, or their different relational levels, and bring out the best in them. So three things for you to be able to build your empathetic leadership as a leader is for you to be able to understand that you are in different, or your team members are in different levels, from a cognitive perspective or an intellectual perspective, an emotional perspective or emotional intelligence perspective, and also the relational or the compassionate capabilities. When you're able to understand this and work with a team in these different levels, then you're building a highly engaged team. And a highly engaged team highly likely will lead to become a highly productive team. So I hope I've added value to you. My name is Gilbert Angana. I'm the CEO of Ascent Leadership Group. And engage us if you want us to become your thinking partner, your coaching partner, and we equip and train your teams and leaders on matters leadership values. See you in the next episode where we look at a different value.